All right, so this morning what we're going to do is we need to implement a ping service, and then we need to add a service that will remove the first song from the queue and add it to the currently playing. So let's go ahead and get a ping service started. We're going to do this in the backend first. So underneath my BLL, I need to have a new class here called a ping service. And when I look at this thing, I should have we're going to call it ping poll. And this is a type of base poll, which I think needed a type of polling event args, which we can use as it wants a ping event args. Okay, so we need to add that in here. Interesting. I need to have a new folder in here called args, and we need to move currency poll args into here. And this needs to be just in the BLL args, and then we need to do this again for the ping poll event args. And that's going to be a ping poll event args. And on this, we only want to have a couple of things. It's going to be a collection of these application user room connection VM called application user rooms connections. Okay, so now this is a ping poll event args. And we need this to be public, and we need to implement the abstract class as well as our SignalR constructor. So in the poll, what I want to do is I want to do a try and a catch. And what we're going to do is I want to do a var, it's going to be called clients pinged, is equal to await my service dot ping application user room connections. So if I open up my service here, we want to have a new function here called task collection of application user room connection VM called ping application user room connections. And after we do that, public override asynchronous task. And after we do that, if my client's ping is not equal to null and my client's ping.count is greater than 0, then we can do a fire my polling event, which will be this, the new ping poll event args, and we want to pass in my connection equals client's pinged, and the polling event type equals a ping poll. That's it. That's it for the ping poll. Now, when we invoke this service, ping application user rooms connections, it's a public asynchronous task called AI collection of our application user room connection VM called ping application user room connections, like that. Like that. Now when I look at this service, we have a couple of things that we need to do. The first thing is I want to get a list of all of the rooms. And then a list of all of the connections. So we'll just do var connections equals await my context. And in this one we have to do a using var context equals new application db context. And what I want to do here is I'm going to say var connections equals await context dot connections dot toList asynchronous. And I want to get all of these ones where it's active and where it's online. And now what I'm going to do is a var connections pinged equals a new list of application user view room connection VM. And then we need another one for connections to remove. So now what we're going to do is for each var application user connection and connections, which I'm going to rename this to be called application users rooms connections. Application ping application user rooms connections. And we're going to rename this with a users rooms connections. Okay. And now I'm going to do another try in here, and I want to say if my connection, so application user connection, if a ping has been sent or the application user connection is not online, then we're going to do connections to remove will be my application user connection. And then also I want to do a var connection ID. We want to do await my chat hub. So we need to have up here a iHub context of chat hub. And we're going to call this chat hub. Like that. Come on. Now chat hub is going to say it doesn't exist in the right class, so we need to move my hubs class from WebAPI over to BLL. This needs to inherit from SignalR core. We need to remove the unnecessary lines, and then we need to add in our events, our request on next, I don't care about yet. Get HTTP context. It's a problem. It's a bit of a problem here. I see you're losing the overlay. It looks nice. Hey, Bubby Bite, how are you doing? Dude in Fortnite? I don't play Fortnite. How are you doing, Bubby Bite? You want to play a game? Okay, so this doesn't work if I move it hubs out, so that's not going to work. And my event data access layer won't let me inject chat hub here. So that means that this actually needs to go inside of the chat hub. Okay. This thing doesn't return anything. So public asynchronous, so a virtual asynchronous task. When we look at this, we want to add in the collections here for each user connection to add. Like that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to await on my hub. I want to do a clients.client of my application user connection. And this needs to be a application user room connection. Dot connection ID dot send asynchronous and we're going to send across here a server ordered disconnect. And I think I already have that as a, and we don't want to do it like this. I want to do a string for the connection ID, which is going to be a client of the connection ID. And then this one we can do an await force, and we can just pass in our connection ID. Okay, otherwise, we're going to say that my send ping. So this one's going to be ping was not responded to remove connection. This is going to say send ping here. So we're going to do a var application user room connection dot has ping been sent equals true. And then a context dot entry of my application user room connection dot state is equal to modified. And then I want to do a connections pinged dot add a mapper dot map. Oh, we could just add my application user room connection. Interesting. Where I'm invoking this, I've never actually pinged anybody. So if I look in my hub, we should have a ping poll in here. We do. So I could inject the ping poll into the hub. And then here, So let me go ahead and move this back to the other function here. And I want to return here a response of a under my lib, under VMs, I want to have something here called a ping poll VM. Hold on. And in this ping poll VM, it'll be a public base view model. You guys got to try to get your characters to vote or to match, otherwise it'll just reset around, and that's a rule I need to change in the game. And in this, it's going to be a prop I collection of application user connection VM called application user room connections to ping, and then connections removed. We want to make this a new list of application user room connection VM. All right. So this needs to return a ping poll VM, which needs to be a return new ping poll VM where my application users to remove equals connections to remove. And this is connections pinged. So this is connections to ping and connections removed. These things need to be VMs. We need to map this to a application user room connection VM. Hey there, Fetty 2006. How are you doing? And then I can scrap this for now and move it over here to Notepad. The same thing here is a mapper.map to my application user room connection VM of my application user room connection. Okay, we need to change that in the interface now. Which needs to be returning a ping poll VM. We can scrap that. And now in Chat Hub, I should be able to inject my ping poll VM, my ping poll BLL, which is called ping poll. And we need to, in here, do a ping poll equals ping poll, which we'll rename with the capital second letter, which is called a ping poll. And you're going to do a ping poll.polling event. Plus equals to a, and it needs to be an asynchronous S and an E. Nope. Yeah, an asynchronous of a S and an E, and we're going to do a lambda and then pass in the protected virtual asynchronous task here called a ping poll event, and we need to await on my ping poll event. and we want to pass in S and E. I don't quite know why that's bugging out here. Let me clean it, rebuild it. Uh-oh. You guys got one more chance here. Don't worry about this one. That's fine. It's a we're going to say that this dot count is greater than 0. This is now returning a ping poll. So this needs to be a public ping poll VM called ping poll VM. Courier, too bad. We can play again if you guys want. And we'll rename this to be called ping poll. This is still unhappy with me. This should be an abstract task. Currency poll event. Oh, I know where this is failing. It's failing on my currency poll because I don't have the correct namespace in here because I moved the args. Okay. Finally here, we want to do this for my connection.connection ID. So this is context.connection ID. We'll rebuild it. You guys want to vote again? Okay. So now in my hub, where we have my ping poll events, what I want to do is a for each var application user room connection in args.pingpoll.application user things to, and this needs to be not in our Unity script. Like that. And then I also want to do a for each var application user room connection in my args.pingpoll.toRemove. So for these ones, I want to do a await force server disconnect, which will be a application user room connection ID. And for this one, we want to do a we want to send the ping, which looks like, oh, I've got something in my eye. A clients.client of my application user room connection dot connection ID dot send asynchronous, and it's called a ping request. And we're going to pass across the string called ping. And we'll do that as an await. Okay. Now we also need to have another function here called a ping response. So a public asynchronous task called ping response. And the thing I want to do here is I want to get my connection equals await my services dot read application roos or room connection by my context dot connection ID. And now I want to say if my connection is not equal to null, then I'm going to do a try and a catch. And in this case, I'm going to do a await my services dot update application user room connection, and we'll pass in an update request where my has ping been sent equals false, ID is equal to connection dot ID, and is online is equal to true. And that's it. So now on the Angular side, where I have my service for my hub context, I need to have a function which does a this.hubConnection.on ping request, and it's going to pass in the ping, which is a string. All I want to do is if my ping is equal to ping, then I want to do this.hubConnection.invoke ping response. Okay, that should do it. So now when I look at this and I run my, when I run my backend here, which is this one, and I want to be able to capture on my ping poll, and then what I want to do is look at my startup class, and we need to add a new var ping poll above the currency poll. Which is going to be an open DJ radio service. No more votes? You guys give up? We're going to say that the ping poll needs to happen every 30 milliseconds. And then we want to do a services.add singleton of my ping poll. Now we should be good to go. I'll run the backend. The backend's running. Start up the front end. Now I'd like to see my ping poll running. So right now I see that I'm connected. I do need to fix my layout here because it's a little ugly. Okay, there's the ping poll firing. So we receive my ping poll VM, which has in it connections to ping 1, which is going to fire here, and we're going to send my ping request. Something was really unhappy with me here. I'm adding in a try and a catch on each one of these. Okay. Now let's try that again, because that was weird. So what I'm expecting is that the ping poll actually kind of will remove all of my connections. So we can check that over here. Okay. And we can check on my SQL server here. Bear with me for just 1 second as I put a password in. Okay, I'm back with you. So if I start up my SQL server here, what I want to see is then make sure you get your votes in. There's only one more wrong letter remaining. No votes is a loss. Is when I look here at OpenDJ Radio underneath connections, we can see we have quite a few of these things in here. And only one of them says, has a ping been sent? And over here, we're actually getting is online. So I don't care about if it's online because I want to get rid of all of them. And then we're going to remove the connection here and do a context.connections.remove my application user room connection. Let's try that again. And let's move my ping poll to be faster. Let's make it every 10 seconds because I'm impatient. Okay, let it run. Here it is. We look. We were going to remove 35 connections. We're just going to ping one. On the second ping poll, 35 connections to remove. So we're never saving this. So if my burglar, if my await my context dot save changes asynchronous is greater than 0, then we're going to return this. Otherwise, I want to return null. Weird. It's like, not updating. Let me know if you guys want to play again. Okay, this time when we get our ping poll, we should get our 35 connections to remove. And we do. And it should ping. And now when we do it again, we should get my 1 connection to remove because we didn't get a response. So now if I get a response here by going to localhost 4200 and logging in, okay, we're connected. So now when I fire this, we should ping 1 connection. And it says that it can't because cannot access a disposed object. Clients is disposed, which means that I need to do it using this chat hub. And that is also going to need to be the same on the currency poll. We'll try it again. Let me know if you guys want to play another game. Wish somebody told me I didn't start my count up timer. And we'll remove the connection. Try it again. Log in. Okay, this time when I get my ping poll, we didn't get anything back. This time when I get my ping poll, I should have 1 to ping. Okay, it worked. Now we got our ping response. And we will update our record. So that's looking pretty good. So it's responsing okay. So now I can do a test and make sure that this is still working correctly. Let me log out, log back in. Okay, so that's working. And we'll now log in a second time under a different account. Wrong account. Give me just a second to input some data. Okay, back with you. Now I'm logged in as a different user, and we should be able to see a did it disconnect me? This one says you have been disconnected. We got force disconnected over here. Interesting. That happened here. That's fine. So let's change our ping response here to be something a little more reasonable, like 30 seconds. And we'll add it and start it again. Okay, we're logged in here. We're logged in here. We can see that it's working across the pipe. That looks good. I want to make sure I'm not getting force disconnected now. It looks good. The ping service appears to be working fine. So now when I should be receiving data, so that's okay. I just fixed the force disconnect issue. And now I want to make sure the ping service is working. So if I was to add that back in here, and then I want to change on my hub, and comment out my ping response. We'll try it again. Now this time we should get disconnected in roughly 30 seconds. Wait for it. Should be every 30 seconds now. Well, it looks like it got disconnected. Maybe. Maybe not. So it's going to ping it here. It's pinging a bunch of those connections. Wait for the response. Wait for the responses. I didn't see where we're getting on disconnected. I see that. I see unconnected. I see ping response. It still looks like it's connecting. But is it making a new connection with each navigation? I don't think it is. Wait for this thing to respond here. Let me close up the back end, and I'm getting impatient, so I'm going to change this to be 10 seconds again. We'll log out. Log back in. It says no songs in queue. That's not accurate. There we go. Okay, wait for the service here. It's almost like it's never getting there. Waiting to see where ping pull fires. It should be every 10 seconds. Hey, there it is. When I look, it's getting null. Still null. So now when I connect up, we should have a connection. Connected here. We do. We get 1. We're going to fire my polling event. We fire it. And now I get my on ping pull response here. And this time it should disconnect me. Let's try it again. It didn't disconnect me because I had a validation in there. Okay, we're connected. We look at the ping poll. We have 1 to ping. We look at it again. I didn't get a response, so it should remove it. We fire here. We fire in the polling event. We fire here. We're going to get a forced server order disconnect. And there it is, forced disconnect. So that's working now. So the next issue was, how come it's not broadcasting the currency? So when I look at this, and I fire it again, and I launch, now that I have this ping poll up and running, I can change that to be 30 seconds again, which is plenty. And then on the front end, I need to add back in my ping response. Now that we're handling and getting rid of any of our expired connections, okay, we're going to add my currency here, which it says is 0. We're going to add my currencies here, which is also 0. So that's unhappy with me. So the ping is working. My currency poll was not. So we're going to get my application users room currencies. We're going to get my room, get my currency, update it. Then we're going to, for each one of my application users in the rooms, which is 1, I want to get their connection here, which is not null. So then I want to get their currency here, which is null. Then I want to add in this application user rooms currencies. And now for each one of them, which should be 1, we update it. And then we add the transaction. And then we save it. And now for each one of these things, we're going to map it across the pipe. It's going to tell me 1 with my quantity. This one, I never said that this thing is changed, did I? So that's okay. And now when I look back here at my currency polling event, yeah, I know I got forced disconnected. We're going to get my connections here, which are 0. And then this is for any of them that are online. Same issue, it's still telling me 0. If I look at this one, This is where I add it, and then this is my context.entry of my application user room currency. Dot state equals modified. Okay, so there it is, and then we also want to see where it's firing, which is in the hub. Which is here. So let's try this. We'll log in, fire my polling event for each connection in here, which is 0. Try that again. Okay, when we look at this one, we get 1. So when I fire my polling event, I get 1. So for each connection in there, my args does exist. We're going to get the currency, and then we're going to send, receive, application, user room currency. So over here, I should be able to, on the front end, receive application user room currency, and we'll do a alert received currency here, and then I want to do a console.log of my application user room currency. We'll log out, log in. Receive application user room currency. So it's like never firing here. Okay, so now we're going to send this to this connection ID. And the reason why this is failing right now is because we don't have context available. It's in this connection. Now it should be good to go. Hey there, Johnny5. How are you doing? Merry Christmas. Happy, what is today? Thursday? Received currency, check log, received currency, check log, received currency, check log. So now we can get rid of that. Try it again. Log out, log in. Waiting for it to update here. Check log. It's definitely doing it a lot, which is strange. That's weird. So in your receive application user room currency, you're doing that here, which should be firing in your room right here. I mean, that looks okay. We tried this again. Is this Angular? Looks like JavaScript. Yep, this is Angular, and I'm using TypeScript. Pixels loaded, and now come on, broadcast it. Should be every 5 seconds, it should be broadcasting. We are connected. There we go, 380. And it's 5 every 30 seconds, so it should be coming up here. $385, so it's ticking correctly. This is great. We still need to get our loading correctly, so when we load this page, we're requesting the room, we're requesting the currency active. Okay. Your quantity gets assigned from the here, application user room currency subscription. Okay, let's go ahead and do an alert update here. Give it a run. Johnny 5, are you still out there? You want to play a game? Wait for it to start ticking. Update. Eight, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Is this just going to keep doing this? I think so. So that should do it. So the next thing that we need to do is hook up our queue. We can fix our formatting of this page just a little bit by doing that. This thing is one row here. Which is going to be like this. And then like this. Like this, and then not on a different row, but we want to have it one more time here with this room. Now when we log in, we've got a nice queue here. And then I can add in over here this search snippet class. Like that. And then also we can add in our ngIf here. So now it looks like this with our search. Maybe we want to do this the opposite direction. Like that. But now the queue is in the wrong spot. Six, 6, 6, and 6. That should. We need one more div, don't we? Hold on, div is connected to this one, which is now this one, which is this one. Like that. There we go, no songs in queue. Enter search keywords over here. And when we look at the room and look at what my queue is, it's there. This is the chat. And this is for your searching. Interesting. It's like it force disconnected me there. Without telling me though. Is it disconnecting me? I think it's force disconnecting me. That's in the app component. It should be invoking the ping response right there. Interesting. Let me log out, try it again. No, it was happy there. Okay, that's happy. That's working. So is it something with my home room? Let's check it again. Now it's disconnecting. So over in the hub, take a look at this. We'll reload the page. I didn't see it disconnect me anywhere. Just checking to see where this would be failing. Because it's definitely disconnecting here. But it's not telling me where that's happening. It's like it's got a bajillion of these ping responses that it's sending. It's not just sending it one time, it's sending it a bajillion times. So you're invoking ping response here, but it should only be happening one time. So it's just like it's keeping it wide open. Waiting for the ping response. Says it got disconnected there. Tons and tons and tons of pings coming in. So why would this be happening? And you're forcing the server disconnect. So let me, in my chat hub, disable my ping and pong poll. We'll run that again. Why would it be doing that? Is it because there's like 12 instances of this hub class? But I thought we injected it only one time. App component TS. Because in this, you need to do an ng on destroy. And we want to say this dot disconnect subscription equals this dot dot unsubscribe. And then also my this dot OAuth subscription dot unsubscribe. Which will make it connect, force disconnect. Application user room currency subscription gets destroyed. You don't have songs queued subscription, unsubscribe. Try that again. So now there's no more ping poll running, right? So we should never get disconnected. We're going to double check that. You guys want to play a game? Okay. That's good. So if I was to restart the ping poll, we just want to do that one. Should just alert ping one time. Nope, just keeps firing. It fired, how many times was that? 4 times? That's because I've got 4 different instances on the page. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And now you should be disconnected. Right? Good. Right? Now we should get our responses. Should do just fine now. How you doing, Pella? It's good to see you this morning. So was it might have been my other service which was causing the problem. No, it's not. It's the ping service. No, still connected. So what's this project? Something to go to the bot that you were working on before? Well, if you want to see the bot that we're working on before, we got this game here. I don't know if you saw this game yesterday, Pella. But what I'm working on is an Angular app. Nope, now it's disconnected. No, it's not. Okay. So the ping is working. So in the currency poll, you add them here, you add it, you update it, you return your VMs, and then in your chat hub, where we do the on currency tick, you'll disconnect the client here if there was a problem. Let me go ahead and get rid of that. Do you have a public repo of this code on GitHub or something? I don't have a public one, but I do have a repo on GitHub with it. So let's reconnect here. Hey, we're connected to the hub. Wait for the currency event. Shouldn't happen anytime with this, right? Oh, because I didn't start the currency hub. Try it again. Currency hub is ticking. And you can see it's ticking up here. And we're going to make sure that we don't disconnect now. Okay, the next thing is that we need to set up our queue rules. And it's still updating, which is good. I'm waiting for this to display my number of pixels. It takes 30 seconds or so because of how I'm not pulling it when I'm first loading the page. And now you can see it's updating here. So we're good. The next bit is to fix our queued song sections here and then to have a now playing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a short break. I'll be back here in 11 minutes. When we come back, we're going to get the queue running since now we have our ping polling service working successfully. Now we have the correct connections that we can connect to. And so now we're ready to implement the rules where when you connect to the page, if you're the owner of the room, then you're going to start the first song in the queue or pull from the playlist. And if you're a client of the room, then you're going to request from the host of the room where their video currently is at so that everybody gets synced. Thanks for staying with me. Please don't touch that dial. I'll see you guys in just 10 minutes. And I hope you enjoy the music. See you in just a bit.